friends, and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Morgan and you are on my homestead here in Wyoming. And if you've been around for a while, you know we do a lot of hunting in order to get all of our meat for the year. Now, hunting does require a ton of prep because Sam oftentimes will go off in the backcountry for quite a while, and that requires freeze-dried meals, freeze-dried beverages, anything he might need food-wise and living-wise. We need to make sure that he has it. I'll go with him every now and again, but I'm not quite as hardcore, so I tend to do day trips when I am trying to film my tag, but he loves to go and really go for it in the backcountry. So one thing that we really love after a night in a tent and in a sleeping bag is a warm cup of coffee. So we have in the past bought the little single packets from Black Rifle Coffee, and we really like those. They are so good, but they're a little bit pricey, and I know we can do it for cheaper because we have a freeze dryer. So today I am going to be going through and freeze drying coffee. I got little single packets that we can use. Let me grab them. They look like this, and they're a little bit bigger than what you would get at the store, but I feel like if we need to, we could cut them in half even and keep them shut. So this is obviously two different layers. So we have these that we'll be able to put the coffee in. And then I'm gonna just be using, because we don't normally use this coffee because it's very expensive, we just use like a day-to-day coffee, but because you're working really hard and he deserves a treat in the backcountry, I did get his favorite coffee in the world, and that is Black Rifle Hazelnut. So I'm gonna go ahead and start brewing up some coffee, and then we're gonna get it in the freeze dryer and all packaged up so that we can enjoy some coffee on the side of the mountain while we're hunting, or even just in a crunch. Sometimes you need to just take coffee with you. It's really cheap because if you're ever on the road, you can go to Starbucks and get like a cup of hot water for like cents on the dollar, and then bring your own packets, and you will be able to make instant coffee in your car that is absolutely delicious. You know the ingredients that are in it, and it's just a healthier alternative and a much cheaper alternative. So we will be using these for both of those applications, but first thing we need to do is get our coffee brewing. Okay, I clearly made a big mess, but I heated these jars up before I put the hot coffee in. Now I'm going to just let these sit, come down to room temperature for a while, and then we'll get them in the freeze dryer. All right, so this has been cooling down for about a half an hour. First thing I'm gonna do is load the trays in, just because it's liquid, and then I'll pour it in here. That way I'm not trying to load in liquid-filled trays. And then we're just going to pour the coffee onto the trays. And for reference, I filled each tray about halfway. You can always do more if you want, but it did take about 48 hours to completely freeze dry. Alright friends, here is all our freeze-dried coffee. This was like 5 pots of coffee, and you can see it's just so concentrated it turns into just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape this off of the tray, and then I'm going to put it in a jar for tonight, and then we're going to try it in the morning and see how much coffee it takes for a single serving, so we know how much to put in the packets. So it was a little bit tedious to scrape all the coffee off. I was worried about how easy it would be to wash the trays, and I can report back that when you add hot water onto these trays, it makes coffee. So it was really, really simple. Good morning, friend. It is time. We have all of our coffee. Isn't that crazy? 5 trays that made this much coffee. So I heated up some water here. We're gonna get it in a mug and we're gonna measure out how much coffee makes a serving. My guess is gonna be like half a teaspoon, but let's go ahead and find out. All right, I have my mug here. I'm just gonna fill it up with some hot water. All right. There's my hot water. I'm gonna do, it's hard to decide. Let's go ahead and do a half a teaspoon and see. And I'm gonna keep this covered. We wanna keep our coffee very dry. Let's give that a quick stir. Looks a little light in color, but let's give it a try. All right, cheers, friends. A little light. Let's go ahead and add in 1/4 of a teaspoon onto this. Alright, I'm gonna give this a try. I like stronger coffee, so I think I'm gonna do 1/4 of a teaspoon. And I think that's gonna be great. Alright, friends, that is perfect. 1 teaspoon is what I'm gonna go with in all of the packets. I think it is perfect. I know I like my coffee not crazy strong, but I like to be able to taste the coffee. I don't want it super watery. So I am going to get those all packaged up and then we will be done. It is time to get these filled, and these again are the holders that we're gonna use for our instant coffee. So these are 1.57 by 5.5 inches. And because we only need a teaspoon in here, and backpacking is all about, and like hunting trips, it's all about conserving space and using as little space as you can. Food goes along with that, hence the freeze-dried meals. We need to keep things light. So I'm gonna try cutting one of these in half and then using my Harvest Right sealer on the highest setting and seeing if I can't just shrink these down a little bit. I have no idea if this will work, but I figure it should, because that's how we're gonna seal them anyways, right? So let's give this a try. And you want to make sure your scissors are clean. I mean, I want to make sure that there's enough room for a little bit of air. I think I'm going to cut like 1/3 of it off. And now let's just test it. This is my Harvest Right sealer. Oh yeah, that's perfect. I just tested it on the small side that we cut off. Yeah, that's gonna be perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and get these all filled up, sealed, and we are done. Oh, and I wanna label these too. So on here, I'm just going to write Black Rifle Coffee. Then I'm gonna grab a cup to set them in and our coffee. So I decided a teaspoon is the ticket, so I'm gonna open this up, maybe. All right, so I have that opened up. I'm gonna stick my funnel in. I'm gonna get out a 1 teaspoon, because that's what we decided on. Take a teaspoon of coffee, dump it in. And then I'm just kind of wiggling this back and forth. I'm just gonna pack it down because we don't want any of that coffee in the seal. seal it shut. And there is our little tiny coffee packet. The only thing I'm thinking of is it's pretty full in here. I might actually keep the full packet. That way there's enough room to like tap it down, cleanly rip it off, and you don't have coffee flying everywhere. So let's try a full-size packet. Get a teaspoon. We're going to work that coffee down. And give it a seal. Just like that. Okay, final conclusion is the big one I think is easier because, like I said, see how the contents go all the way up on this one? Looks like a little ketchup packet. This is gonna be hard to open. So when he opens it, the coffee might go flying. Versus this one, he could shake it down. The coffee then all moves down. And then he can have a clean tear and not lose any coffee. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish with these full sizes. Here's the size of it, just for like reference. And then for reference, here is a final at what the instant coffee looks like. It's crazy. This was 5 pots of coffee. And just for your math at home, I brewed 5 pots of coffee. I got 13 of these packets in total, and then Sam and I both had a cup, so that was 2 cups of about a teaspoon each. So in total, we got 15 cups of coffee out of the 5 pots of coffee that we brewed. My pots, my coffee pot holds a 10 cup, is that what the measurers are? Cups? I don't know. Mine goes to the number 10 on my Mr. Coffee Pot. So if that helps you kind of guesstimate how many of these packets you will get, if you brew 5 pots of the 10 cups, you will get about 15 of these packets, assuming you also use a tablespoon, or sorry, a teaspoon. I hope you found that helpful. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I thought this was super fun, and honestly, I'm so excited for Sam to have his favorite coffee on the side of the mountain, and for us to just have on road trips or whenever we need. I think this will be so nice to have, and it is shelf stable. If you liked today's video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye, friend.